Nurse Linda Kowalski has remembered that moment for 37 years. On the night shift, in the 4th floor pediatric oncology unit, standing in front of the door to room 9, watching a man, a world-famous man, John Wayne. But the man she saw in that room wasn't the man she saw on screen. Not a cowboy, not a hero, not a tough guy. He was a man, just a man, on his knees, holding the hand of a dying 7-year-old child, and crying. Linda was 27 that night. It was her 4th year in her career. She'd seen hundreds of deaths. She'd given condolences to hundreds of families. But until that night, she'd never cried. That night she cried. Uncontrollably. Silently. Because what she saw wasn't just a celebrity's courtesy visit. It was a father, struggling with the fear of losing his own son, trying to save someone else's son. And the moment he realized he couldn't, this story began in Los Angeles, California, St. Vincent Hospital, Pediatric Oncology Unit. But to understand this story, you first need to meet Michael David Chen. Michael was 7 years old, Chinese American. He lived with his parents in Chinatown, in a small apartment. His father ran a laundry. His mother worked as a seamstress. Michael was an only child, much loved, very happy, successful in school, had many friends, loved life. His favorite thing was watching Western films. Every Saturday, his father would take Michael to the movies. Michael Wong's Theater, the old theater in Chinatown, always played Westerns. And Michael looked for the same man in every Western, John Wayne, Rio Bravo, The Searchers, True Grit. Michael had seen them all, many times. John Wayne was his hero, his role model, his idol. "Dad," Michael would say, "when I grow up, I'm going to be like John Wayne. I'm going to be a cowboy." Robert Chen, Michael's father, would smile. "Okay, son, be a cowboy. But first finish your homework." January 20, 1971. Michael's 7th birthday. His family threw him a party. January 20, 1971. Small but warm. 10 friends came. They ate cake, played games. They gave Michael a toy gun as a gift. Plastic, but it looked real. Michael was so happy. He attached the gun to his belt. "I'm Sheriff Michael," he said. "I'm going to catch the bad guys." Everyone laughed. They took photos. That photo would be Michael's last happy photo. January 14, 1971. 12 days later. Michael fainted at school. Suddenly. No reason. Just fell to the ground. They called the nurse, took him to the emergency room. Doctors ran tests, blood work, x-rays. When the results came, Robert and Linda Chen's world collapsed. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia, blood cancer, advanced stage. When the doctor told them, he used words, medical terms. But the parents heard only one thing: "Your son is dying." "How much time does he have?" Robert asked. His voice was trembling. The doctor hesitated. "Without treatment, maybe 3-4 months. With treatment, maybe 8-10 months, maybe more. But the chance of recovery is very low, less than 10%. Linda Chen collapsed in that moment. Her knees buckled. Robert caught her, but he was crying too. "Will you tell my son?" Robert asked. "Not now, he's still too young, he won't understand." But Michael understood. Children always understand. Michael was admitted to the hospital. Chemotherapy began. His hair fell out. He lost 15 kilos. His skin color faded. For 3 months Michael fought, tried to be strong, tried to smile, but he was suffering, so much. At night when Nurse Linda came to his room, Michael was crying, silently, buried in his pillow. "Michael?" Linda leaned down. "Does it hurt? Should I give you medicine?" Michael shook his head. "No, not medicine." "Then what?" Michael looked at her, with those small frightened eyes. "Am I going to die?" Linda froze, couldn't find words. Because what would she say? Would she lie? "Michael, the doctors are doing everything they can. But am I going to die?" Linda sat down, held Michael's hand. "I don't know, sweetheart. But we're fighting. You have to fight too." Michael cried silently, then whispered, "John Wayne never dies. In the movies, he always wins." Linda's heart broke. "I know. I want to win too. I know, sweetheart." That night Linda went to her room, and for the first time in 4 years she cried. Because she'd grown to love Michael, all the nurses had. That small, brave boy. April 1971. 3 months later, Michael's condition was worsening. The chemotherapy wasn't working. The cancer was spreading. The doctors called Robert and Linda. There's nothing more we can do. I'm sorry. Maybe 2-3 weeks. Linda Chen collapsed. Robert held her. But he'd collapsed too. Our son is going to die. I'm sorry. That night, Robert and Linda sat in Michael's room. Michael was sleeping, connected to machines, pale, thin. What are we going to do? Linda whispered. Robert didn't know, but then he remembered something. Linda, if we asked Michael a question, what his last wish would be? Linda looked at him. Why? Because maybe we can make him happy. One last time. Linda nodded, crying. The next day when Michael woke up, his parents were beside him. Michael, Robert said, I want to ask you something. Michael smiled weakly. What, Dad? If you could make a wish, ask for one thing. What would you want? Michael thought. Then his eyes lit up. I'd want to see John Wayne. Robert and Linda looked at each other. John Wayne? Yes, I want to see him once. For real, not on TV. For real. Robert swallowed. Okay, son, I'll do it. I promise. But how? Robert Chen was a laundry owner. He lived in Chinatown. He didn't know anyone in Hollywood. John Wayne was the most famous man in the world. How would he reach him? Robert tried. First he called Wayne's studio. A secretary answered the phone. Paramount Pictures. How may I help you? Hello, I want to speak with John Wayne. Mr. Wayne is not available at the moment. May I take a message? Robert left the message. Told his son's story. Leukemia. Dying. Last wish is to see John Wayne. Thank you, sir. I'll relay your message. Robert waited. To 1 day, 2 days, 1 week. No answer came. Robert called again. Tried someone else. Warner Brothers. Universal. MGM. Same answer everywhere. We'll relay your message. But no one called back. Robert was hopeless. Linda was crying. What are we going to do? We promised our son. Then Nurse Linda had an idea. Let's write to the newspapers. Maybe someone will read it. Maybe John Wayne will read it. Robert wrote the letter. Sent it to the Los Angeles Times. Headline: Dying Child's Last Wish. To meet John Wayne. The letter was published. April 15, 1971. In a small corner. Page 12. Most people didn't read it. But one person did. John Wayne. That morning, Wayne was having breakfast at home. His house in Newport Beach. Ocean view. He was reading his newspaper. Drinking his coffee. Routine. What he did every morning. When he got to page 12, he saw it. Small letter. From Robert Chen. Wayne started reading. Dear John Wayne. My name is Robert Chen. I live in Chinatown. I have a 7-year-old son, Michael. Michael has leukemia. He's dying. The doctors say 2-3 weeks. Michael loves you very much. He's watched all your films. You're his hero. His last wish is to see you. Once, for real. I know you're very busy. I know this is asking too much. But please, my son is dying. And before he dies, he wants to see his hero. Respectfully, Robert Chen. Wayne finished the letter, put down his coffee, and put his head in his hands. Because Wayne knew. He knew this pain. In 1958, Wayne's own son, Michael Wayne, had become very ill, had undergone serious surgery. Wayne had waited 3 days in the hospital, praying. Michael Wayne had recovered. They were lucky. But Wayne remembered what he felt during those 3 days. That terror, that helplessness. And now another Michael, another father, was experiencing the same pain. But this time they wouldn't be lucky. Wayne stood up, picked up the phone, called his secretary. Mary, find this Robert Chen. Get his phone number. Immediately. 1 hour later the phone rang. Robert Chen was at the laundry. He ran to the phone. Hello, Mr. Chen? This is John Wayne's office. Mr. Wayne wants to speak with you. Robert's heart stopped. What? What did you say? Mr. Wayne is on the phone. Transferring now. Click. Then a deep, familiar voice. Mr. Chen, this is Duke. John Wayne. I read your letter. Robert started crying. On the phone. Couldn't control it. Mr. Wayne, thank you. Thank you so much. Don't cry, Mr. Chen. Listen. I want to visit your son. Which hospital? St. Vincent. 4th floor. Pediatrics. Can I come tomorrow? 2 o'clock. Yes. Yes, of course. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. And Mr. Chen, yes? Your son is a strong boy. I know it. Wayne hung up. Robert held the phone. And cried. From joy? From gratitude? He ran. Went to the hospital. Told Linda. Told Michael. Michael's eyes opened. For the first time in weeks, they sparkled. Really, Dad? John Wayne is coming? Yes, son. Tomorrow. Michael smiled. Weak but a real smile. What will I say to him? Whatever you want. That night Michael couldn't sleep. Too excited. Too happy. When Nurse Linda came, Michael was talking. Fast. Linda. John Wayne is coming. Tomorrow. For real. What should I ask him? What should I say? Linda smiled. Through tears. I don't know, sweetheart. But I'm sure it'll be wonderful. April 16th, 1971. Nurses, doctors, patients. Everyone was at the windows. Because the rumor had spread. John Wayne is coming. At 2:05 a black limousine arrived. Parked. The back door opened. And John Wayne stepped out. He was 64 years old. Tall, broad-shouldered, brown suit, Stetson hat. That iconic walk. He entered. The receptionist froze. Mr. Wayne? Hello, ma'am. I'm here to visit Michael Chen. 4th floor. Of course. You can go right up. Wayne took the elevator. Went to the 4th floor. When the doors opened, the entire floor had stopped. Nurses, doctors, visitors. Everyone was staring at John Wayne. But Wayne didn't look at them. He only asked one person. Where is Michael Chen's room? Nurse Linda stepped forward. I can take you. Number 9. Wayne looked at her, smiled. Thank you. The corridor was silent. Only footsteps. Wayne's heavy steps. Linda's hurried steps. They approached room number 9. The door was half open. Linda stopped. Mr. Wayne, Michael is very weak. Very sick. But very excited. Please. I understand, Wayne said. I'll be gentle. Linda opened the door. Michael, you have a visitor. Wayne walked in and saw Michael David Chen for the first time. The bed was too big. Michael was too small. 7 years old but looked 5. Chemotherapy had wasted him away. No hair. Yellow skin. Thin arms. Needles. Tubes. But his eyes were shining. When Michael saw John Wayne, his breath caught. Smiled. That famous Wayne smile. I'm real, son. Alive and kicking. Michael couldn't believe it. He covered his face with his hands. Then looked again. You're John Wayne. That's right. And you're Michael Chen. Yes. Wayne saw a chair in the corner of the room. Pulled it. Put it next to the bed. Sat down. So they could be at eye level. Michael, Wayne said. Your dad wrote me a letter. Said you really wanted to see me. Is that true? Michael nodded. Quickly. He'd started crying. From happiness. Yes. I watched all your movies. Rio Bravo. True Grit. The Searchers. All of them. Wayne smiled. Wow. That's a lot of westerns. Did it tire you out? No. Never. You're the best. The best cowboy. Wayne reached out. Took Michael's hand. That small thin hand. Bones. Skin. Michael, you're a cowboy too. Your dad told me you're very brave. Michael wiped his eyes. I'm not brave. I'm scared. You're scared. Yes. It hurts. And I'm scared of dying. Silence fell in the room. Robert and Linda Chen stood in the corner, crying silently. Nurse Linda stood at the door. Her heart was breaking. Wayne leaned down, closer, whispered, Michael, I'm going to tell you a secret. About cowboys. What secret? Cowboys get scared too. All of us get scared. I get scared. Michael was shocked. You get scared? Yes. I get scared in movies. I get scared in real life. Fear is normal. But do you know what courage means? Michael shook his head. No. Courage is doing something even when you're scared. What are you doing right now? Lying in the hospital. No. You're fighting. Against the disease. And this fight is hard. It hurts. It's scary. But you're here. You keep fighting. That's courage, son. You're a cowboy. Michael's eyes filled. Really? Really? And I promise you, you're one of the bravest cowboys I've ever seen. Michael laughed. For the first time in weeks, he really laughed. Wayne stood up, took something out of his jacket. A badge. Metal. 6-pointed star. Writing on it, Deputy Sheriff. Michael. Wayne said. This badge is a special badge. The badge I wore in Rio Bravo. Real. And now I'm giving it to you. Michael's mouth dropped open. To me. Yes. Because you're now officially my deputy sheriff. If you ever catch bad guys, you'll wear this badge. Wayne gently placed the badge on Michael's pillow, then leaned down, kissed Michael's forehead. You're a wonderful boy, Michael. I'm proud to know you. Michael was crying, but happy crying. Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Thank you so much. Call me Duke. Friends call each other Duke. Okay, Duke. Wayne smiled, then turned, walked toward the door, but stopped, turned back. Michael, one more thing. Yes? Wayne took out a pen and paper from his pocket, quickly wrote something, folded the paper and handed it to Michael. Open this, but after I leave. Okay? Okay. Wayne waved one last time, then left. He waited in the corridor. 3 seconds, 5 seconds, then leaned against the wall, buried his face in his hands, and cried. John Wayne, legend, icon, world famous, in the corridor, in the hospital, alone, crying. Nurse Linda approached. Mr. Wayne? Wayne raised his head. His eyes were red. That boy is going to die, isn't he? Linda bowed her head. Yes. 1-2 weeks. Wayne took a breath. Deep. Trembling. Too young. Too damn young. This isn't fair. I know. Wayne wiped his eyes. Straightened up. Put that John Wayne mask back on. Please. Please take good care of him. And support the family. They're very good people. We will, Mr. Wayne. I promise. Wayne nodded. Walked. Took the elevator. Left. Linda returned to room 9. Michael was still smiling, looking at the badge. It was gleaming in his hand. Linda, look. John Wayne gave me a badge. I'm a deputy sheriff now. Linda smiled, through tears. I saw, sweetheart. It's very special. And he wrote me a note. Can I open it now? Open it. Michael opened the paper. Handwriting inside. Michael, you're a brave cowboy. Never forget, cowboys never lose. Sometimes we fall down, but we always get back up. You will get up too. I love you, son. Duke. Michael couldn't read it. He was still too young. Linda read it to him. Michael listened, then pressed the badge to his chest. Dad, he said. Duke loves me. Robert Chen was crying. Yes, son. He loves you. That night, Michael slept his most peaceful sleep in weeks. The badge was under his pillow, the note in his hand, and in his dream, he was riding horses with John Wayne, under the sun, free. The next day, April 17th, Michael's condition improved a little. The doctors were surprised. Not a miracle, they said. But psychological support is very important. Maybe this strengthened him. Robert became hopeful. Maybe he'll recover. Maybe Duke saved him. But Linda knew. The nurses knew. The doctors knew. This was just the last light. The candle's last flare before going out. April 20, 3 days later. Michael got worse again. Fast. He developed a fever. Had trouble breathing. Couldn't speak. April 21. Midnight. The doctors called Robert and Linda. It could be tonight. Be with him. Robert and Linda went to Michael's room. Sat. Held his hand. Michael opened his eyes. Weakly. Dad. Badge. Robert took the badge. Put it in Michael's hand. Here, son. Right here. Michael smiled. Very weakly. I'm a cowboy, right? Yes, son. You're the bravest cowboy. Duke told me. Yes. He told you. And he was right. Michael took a breath. One last time. Dad. I love you. I love you too, son. So much. April 22nd, 1971. 3:42 a.m. Michael David Chen died, 7 years old, with his mother and father beside him, John Wayne's badge in his hand. Nurse Linda was there that night. She turned off the monitor, recorded the time, then went out to the corridor, and cried uncontrollably. Other nurses came. They cried too, because Michael was a special child, a brave child, and John Wayne's visit was his last happiness. The funeral was held on April 25th, at a small church in Chinatown. 100 people attended. Robert and Linda were devastated. Linda couldn't speak. Robert tried to speak but couldn't find words. Michael was in a small white casket. John Wayne's badge was on his chest, the note in his hand. During the funeral, someone appeared at the door. Tall, broad-shouldered, black suit, sunglasses. John Wayne. Everyone was shocked. He entered silently, sat in the back row. Throughout the ceremony, Wayne sat, silently. motionless. When the ceremony ended, the casket was carried to the cemetery. Wayne approached, saw Robert and Linda. "Mr. and Mrs. Chen, I'm so sorry." Robert was crying. "Mr. Wayne, you came." "Of course I came. Michael was my friend." Linda hugged Wayne, cried. Wayne held her, silently. "He talked about you so much," Linda said. "His last days were spent with you. In his dreams, he always looked at the badge." Wayne was silent, then spoke. "Michael was a brave boy, a real cowboy, and I will never forget him." The casket was lowered into the ground. Everyone threw flowers. Wayne stayed last, looked at the casket for a long time, then took something out of his pocket, a small toy horse, plastic, with a cowboy, silently placed it on the casket. "Go, son. Ride horses. You're free now." Wayne turned, walked, got in his car, left, but he didn't really leave, because he carried Michael inside him. In the following years, every April, John Wayne would visit Michael's grave, silently, without anyone knowing. He'd leave flowers, pray, and whisper, "Hello, cowboy. Can you hear me? You're still brave." When John Wayne died in 1979, there was a clause in his will. "I want a scholarship fund established for Michael David Chen's family, to be given annually to a child fighting leukemia." When Robert and Linda Chen received the news, they cried. "He never forgot him," Linda said. "He loved our son, really loved him." Today, in 2024, the John Wayne Michael Chen Courage Scholarship still exists. For 45 years, hundreds of children have been helped, and at every scholarship ceremony, a badge is shown. Medal, 6-pointed star. Writing on it, Deputy Sheriff, Michael's badge. Nurse Linda Kowalski is now 81 years old. Retired, but she never forgot that night. In 2019, she gave an interview. A local journalist asked, "Linda, in your 50-year career, you've seen thousands of patients, but you still talk about Michael Chen. Why?" Linda smiled. Her eyes filled. "Because that night I saw something. John Wayne's true face." "What do you mean?" "Everyone thinks John Wayne is a tough guy, cowboy, hero, but I saw him crying, in the corridor, against the wall, burying his face in his hands, and crying." Why was he crying? Because he wasn't just an actor, he was a father, and he felt another father's pain. The pain of watching a child die. Linda stopped, wiped her tears. That night Wayne gave Michael a badge, but he actually gave himself, gave his heart, and Michael died happy, without fear. Because Duke had told him, "You're brave," and did that change him? Yes. Michael didn't cry in his last days, didn't complain, just looked at the badge and smiled. Wayne had given him a gift, honor, and he died with that honor. The interviewer was silent, then asked, "Why do you think John Wayne came? Why did he come for a child he didn't know?" Linda thought, for a long time. Because Wayne understood this. Fame is temporary, money is temporary, but making a child happy, giving him one last smile, that's forever. Wayne was famous, rich, busy. He didn't have to come. No one would have known. Linda nodded, but he came, because he did the right thing, and that's why I admire him. Wayne wasn't a perfect man. He made mistakes. But that day, in that hospital room, he was perfect, just a man who loved a child. The interview ended, but the story didn't, because Michael David Chen's story isn't just a child's story. This is a story of compassion, a story of love, a story of humanity. John Wayne made thousands of films, entertained millions, became a legend, but his greatest role was the one he played when no cameras were around, in a hospital room, beside a dying 7-year-old child, on his knees, holding his hand, whispering, "You're brave." In that moment, there were no cameras, no newspapers, very few witnesses. But that moment was John Wayne's greatest moment, because that moment changed a child's life, changed his last days. Michael died happy, smiling, badge on his chest. And now, decades later, the story is still being told, because people began to understand. Real heroes aren't on screen. Real heroes are in hospital corridors, crying, feeling a child's pain. John Wayne was a legend, but in that hospital room, he became more. He became human, and that was worth more than any Oscar. Michael David Chen lived 7 years, but those 7 years were like 70, because on his last day, he met his hero, and that hero told him, "You're a brave cowboy," And cowboys never lose. Did Michael lose? No, because today, 53 years later, he's still remembered, still loved, and the badge John Wayne gave is still in a museum, Los Angeles, Hollywood Museum, behind glass, under lights, and every day, hundreds of people come. Look, Reedy Deputy Sheriff, given to Michael David Chen by John Wayne, April 16. Epilogue. When John Wayne died in 1979, 500 people were at his funeral, but no one knew. He carried a small photo in his wallet, Michael David Chen's photo, in the hospital bed, holding the badge, smiling. On the back, Wayne's handwriting, "The bravest cowboy, I will never forget." And he didn't forget. None of us forgot.